All right, who is in the best 23 for Port Adelaide this year? It's a pretty strong team. The Zero-Hanger team here. We've made our call. We're going to break it down for you line by line. But before we do that, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. We have plenty of AFL content coming your way this year. Now, with all that being said, let's get to it. Ken's Men, best 23, Port Adelaide. Let's go. But before we get into it, don't forget that zerohanger.com is the #1 independent AFL news source for all your AFL news, trades, draft content, and now games. Check out our latest game, AFL Streakr. Test out your footy stats knowledge and see if you can get your name on the leaderboard. All right, and here to break down the best 23 for Port Adelaide, Mitch Keating, Chief AFL Editor. How are you, mate?
I'm good. Yeah, keen for this one. So you look at Ken's Men.
Yeah, Ken's Man. I don't think Ken's list has ever really been the problem. I think it's just winning finals. So what do you think about them in 2025?
Yeah, they'll be there and thereabouts again, whether that's top 4, top 8 or narrowly outside. I think it's quite a large bracket for them to fall in, really. But midfield is star-studded, forward line's improved. Backline's going to be the interesting one. Lose Dan Houston and questions on their key position options. But again, competing.
All right, let's get to it. All right, so starting with the back line, we have Ryan Burton, Brandon Zerk-Thatcher, Lockie Jones, and then Miles Bergman, Alir Alir, and Logan Evans. So obviously the big thing there is filling the hole left by Dan Houston.
Yeah, like 2-time reigning All-Australian. It's not easy, but I think they're going to do it pretty comfortably. They're not going to have a player of his quality necessarily on their list, but I think when you've got Burton, like Jones maybe, and Bergman maybe, but Logan Evans as well. Jace Burgoyne maybe plays a bit further up the ground. Same with Kane Farrell. Darcy Byrne-Jones could probably switch down back again if they needed him to. Like they're not short on options, and I think a lot of those guys have the potential to, improve their game as that weapon on their last line. So, yeah, big loss for them, but also helped them add to other areas of the ground that they needed to improve. Because I think they had more than enough of those, ready halfbacks anyway. So, not the ideal bit of business for them, but they were able to get something out of it and improve 2 areas of their game, kind of.
All right, so the midfield pretty much picks itself. So Jordan Sweet is the main man in the ruck, followed up by Zach Butters, Connor Rozee, Willem Drew, and then on the wings, Jace Burgoyne and Kane Farrell. You'd be pretty happy with that. It's never really been an issue for them.
No, well, I think Jason Horne-Francis as well might just go past everyone this year. Add in Ollie Wines as a depth option. Well, not even depth option. Like he'll be one of the key figures in midfield along with Rozee, Butters, Drew, and Horne-Francis. Jace Burgoyne's end of the year was fantastic as in that advanced role on the wing. Kane Farrell, I like seeing further up the field. And then Jordan Sweet's going to get some healthy competition from Ivan Soldo and Dante Vicentini. So there's ticks all across the board for the Port Adelaide midfield for sure.
All right, so the forward line, we have Jason Horne-Francis, Ollie Lord, Joe Richards, and then Will Rioli, Jack Lukosius, and Mitch Georgiadis. Now, this one, we haven't picked Todd Marshall because he is pretty much out for the rest of the year.
Yeah, we like with these best 23s, we're looking at, full scope, full season, what is the best possible side. But Marshall, really low chance, it seems like, of him playing unless, they're making a deep finals run. And even then, they would have to maybe risk him. So, yeah, not including him. I think you're probably putting him ahead of Ollie Lord in this case. But for this exercise, we'll swap that around. Ollie Lord, Jack Lukosius, and Mitch Georgiadis as those tools. Nice combination, but obviously a new look after having Dixon and Marshall along with Georgiadis. And then Jeremy Finlayson doesn't make the best 23, but again, could be pressing for a starting role there. Joe Richards, another new one for them, coming over from Collingwood. Nice, speedy, half-forward asset. I think him and Joe Berry, their top draftee, will be pushing for spots in this starting side. Willie Rioli, always solid. Just needs to find a consistent run. Injuries and suspensions obviously been a bit of an issue for him in the last few seasons. And then Sam Powell-Pepper we've got off the bench, who's coming back off his ACL layoff. So, again, pretty solid forward 7.
All right, and rounding out the 23 with the bench, we have Darcy Byrne-Jones, Sam Powell-Pepper, Ollie Wines, Jackson Mead, and then Travis Boak as the sub. So we've already talked about a couple of those guys, but Travis Boak as a sub probably is last year, you'd think.
Yeah, you'd think so. And, we saw him maybe fade a little bit out of the best side in the last couple of seasons, sometimes slotting in the sub role, pushing onto the wing. I still think he's he's that competitive beast still, and he'll do anything to be playing week in, week out for the power. But competition again from their emerging ranks is going to be quite interesting. There's a number of names we haven't included in the side. we mentioned Jeremy Finlayson before, and Sava Ratugolea is another one. Ivan Soldo is another one. We did mention Joe Berry, who will be pushing pretty quickly. They picked up Rory Atkins. Whether he's going to be a starting option remains to be seen, but he had a fantastic year in the VFL last year for Gold Coast. So they've got names across the board that'll be pressing for starting spots. I think Boak, makes this cut, and it would be great to see him play out the year in what is, probably his last.
Right, so that's our full best 23. It's a pretty good looking best 23, especially that midfield. Although Jason Horne-Francis, probably the best midfielder on the list, but we've got him at the half forward.
Yeah, I think he actually might be their best midfielder by the end of the year. Yes, he is at half forward. His role as a one-out forward last year was perfect for them as that rotation. He probably doesn't have the tank just yet to be playing full-time midfield like your Rosies and your Butters do, but my prediction is he'll go past them. And while I've got him at half forward, he'll be their most impactful midfielder in 2025.
Yeah, I think he's in for a pretty good year. And I think so are Port Adelaide. I think they're going to be under the pump a little bit just based on, every year for the past 10 years that they have been under the pump. So it's going to be an interesting watch. So let us know in the comments what you think of our best 23. What did we get right? What did we get wrong? I know the Port fans are very, very vocal in the comment sections on every video, which is absolutely fantastic for us. We'd love to get into it with you. So jump into the comment section, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. We have plenty of AFL content coming out this year, and catch all the latest AFL news at zerohangout.com.